Hey guys, this video is a series of videos that I am presenting my new prototypes that I implemented in the last weeks. The second one is a tester. So the goal is to run browser end-to-end tests via our story diagram. So you know the interface of our project, and here I'll create another project, call it test project. And let's open. We have scenes and stories. Let's open the scene, we have the console, and let's select a new story. For this one, I'll need just the story part of it. So let's open the story. The story is created with a start event and an end event. I was inspired by BPMN, like you know. And here I added some nodes that are related to browser testing. So for this prototype, let's simulate a test in a login page. So the first node would be open a page. So this node is using browser open type, and let's open the page. I'll use the internet, that is an example app, public example app, to test a lot of things, and let's use it for our prototype. The first step would be open the page. The second step would be type username. You can see that we have browser type as the type of the node. The selector would be the CSS selector that we are using in that page, so the user would have to know it. For now, maybe in the future we can improve it. And the selector would be the ID username, and the text would be Tom Smith. We can update, and then we can connect the two nodes. And then we are not typing the password. Let's just try to access to do the login without typing the password. So I'll use this node that is a browser click node. So click on submit, but we have to select a selector. For this one is radios. The class is radios, and we can connect. And here we have a flow. So start event, open the page, type username, click on submit, and then end event. We could close the browser. This is another node, but I won't need it for now. And then I haven't added the play story button here, but we can play the story from the scene. Okay, we selected the first story. Let's play it. The first node is browser open. You can see that the browser is opened. Then we browser type the defined username, and then we try to click on the selector. This is the login, and then you can see that your password is invalid, so the test was run. We can come here again. Let's try again. I don't know if this is going to work, but let's try again. Open. Yes, it reloaded the page. Then type Tom Smith, then click, and then your password is invalid because we didn't type the password. So this is the second prototype running browser end-to-end tests. This is not using LLM integration for now, but my goal is to use, like we showed to you guys in generate scene, to generate story. So we could create test scenarios just using natural language, right? And that's one of the next steps in the future. I'll show to you guys how I implemented this, how I integrate these kind of nodes, and what library I use it to implement it. So let's open here the front-end project. Here we have the index.js. I had to implement a server that runs locally. So I have a React project, but inside the React project, I added an Express server, so a Node.js server that has as endpoints each of the test actions that we would need to test an application. So for each one of these nodes, I implemented one endpoint in the Express server, and I'm using Puppeteer as the library. Puppeteer is a library to integrate with browsers. You can use it for tests. you can use for automation, and here we are using this library to do the thing. I have a cache, memory cache, that is just we set the browser instance, and then we can get the browser instance later in the application. So here the open endpoint would create a browser, or open or select a browser that is already open, and then the other endpoints would get that browser, so using the instance ID, and then for example in this type endpoint, using Puppeteer, it would type the text using the selector that the user passed from the diagram. Okay, then we would have the same for the click and for the close. Okay, and for the diagram I am using for example browser type. Just a second. Activity. I am using these activity nodes, so browser open, browser close, browser click, and browser type. I have execution being done locally, so we get all the nodes, and here we can execute the node. Okay, so we are feeding some kind of execution cache, and then inside the cabin, here we have the last action. So you could see that here we have some kind of timeout, so for the humans to see the test being actually executed, and then here with this timeout we can get the last action, so the last node that was being executed, and then handle what kind of action we would like to do in that moment. So for example, for open browser, we have a service, browser tester service, open browser. I pass the data that is fed inside each node, and then this service will call the endpoint that we implemented in our local server, and this endpoint will communicate with the Puppeteer instance. Okay, so that's it. That's the second prototype. Like I said, for now it's being created manually by humans, but maybe in the future we can generate the story just talking to the model like we did for the scene. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you and see you soon.